Right, many of us probably love the idea of a sub-8-hour Ironman. Now, for our male professional triathletes, that's kind of become the holy grail. And for our females, it's the impressive sub-9 hours. Now, if you're like me, that seems pretty mind-boggling. Now, the bike actually takes up the largest percentage of the overall race, so they're clearly doing something pretty special on the bike. But I'm interested to find out how they're doing that, what they're doing in their training to ride such fast bike times. And today, I'm actually joined by professional triathlete Will Clarke.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Good to see you, man. Now, Will is actually one of those members of the sub-8-hour club, not once, but twice. Yeah, and actually one of the only athletes to have competed in all the major games and championships, so the Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, you've done the Ironman 70.3 World Champs, Ironman World Champs.
Yeah, and then long career doing the ITU stuff, so.
Pretty impressive. Now, Will, how on earth do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give away all my secrets today, but I thought we could run through one of the sessions that I found really useful the past few years to give me some extra grunt on the bike. Should we crack on and get warmed up?
Let's do it.
Cool.
Right, well, we're warming up at the moment. What is the plan for the session today, and what's the idea behind it?
So today we warm up for about 15 or 20 minutes, and we're going to ride 6 times 6 minutes at Sweetspot, which is 88 to 92% of your FTP, so your hour power.
Okay.
We're going to do that around 55 to 65 RPM. I mean, if you're someone who struggles with their knees, for example, then you want to ride a slightly higher cadence to protect your knees.
Yeah.
So it's a bit cold.
Okay. What are the benefits of this then?
So it's perfect strength endurance training. Ideally, after a lot of weeks of building up on this, you'll start to feel really good, start to feel some real torque in your legs.
Okay.
And really strong. It's also your 70.3 pace, pretty much. So this is perfect training for that, perfect strength on the legs.
Yeah.
Really good session.
And then how much recovery will we take between each of the reps?
So for this, I like to break it into 10-minute blocks. So 6 minutes on and 4 minutes recovery, spinning at a higher cadence of around 90, ideally 100 would be great.
Brilliant, okay. And then in total, how long would this whole session take?
So that's 60 minutes worth of work there. So 15 minutes either side, that's a 90-minute session.
Perfect, well that's great for fitting in around people's work and...
Also great for doing on turbo without getting too bored.
Super, all right, well let's get to this hill and let's get going. All right, Will, first rep
mate.
then.
Should we crack on? 6
minutes over gear, nice meaty gear. So we're looking for quite a low cadence, right?
That's right, around 55 to 60 RPM.
Okay,
so,
and are we going to stay in the aero bars as much as possible?
Yeah, we're going to ride as aggressive as possible during these to really lock in that position.
Awesome, all right. Well, let's go. Two, one, stop. Whew.
And then nice easy gear now.
All right.
So really spin it
down.
out.
All right, so that's 6 minutes down, got a 4-minute recovery, and we're off again.
Yeah.
So far, so good. That's, you know, not too hard.
It's not meant to be a session that's going to completely kill you. I mean, you should feel a little bit like you've been doing weights.
Yeah.
After this, so it's really good strength from the legs.
I imagine
knock you out.
I imagine though by the 6th rep, I'm going to be feeling it a little bit.
By 6th rep, you should be holding on because at the end of the day, it's still a pretty high power. 320 watts roughly is what I'd try and do for this.
Okay, that's our recovery over. Now for the 2nd rep.
Right.
3, 2, 1, off we go. This is a great session for building strength, but as with anything, this should be built up with time. You could start out with something like 6 lots of 3 minutes over gear, with a longer recovery between each rep of around 7 minutes. Now, we're doing this with a cadence of 55 to 65 RPM, but if you're starting out, then you can do it with a cadence of 75 RPM to condition yourself better. Then, as you progress this session, you can start to increase the rep length to something like 6 lots of 6 minutes, as we're doing here, and then even to something like 4 lots of 8 minutes with a shorter recovery of around 2 minutes. Three, 2, 1, done. All right, 2nd rep down, nice easy gear, spin up.
Okay, ready for the third rep. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Okay, I'm starting to feel it a little bit now.
It creeps up on you, eh?
It does, yeah. Now, so you're saying about trying to stay in the aero bars for as much as possible. Why do we try to do that?
It's just obviously this position that we're racing in, so it's really specific muscle development in that air position. Yeah. Really learning to push a big gear and push a hard gear and work hard in that position. It's only short reps, so it's a nice amount of time for you to really concentrate on holding a good position, so you can really focus on pushing your neck down and out, and that nice turtle position that at the end of the day, there's as many aero gains to make as physical gains, so it's really important to practice both in your training.
Okay, 4th rep, ready and go.
A really key area to focus on with overgearing is that you stay planted and solid in the saddle. There is a tendency to move around in the saddle with these sessions, almost shifting and tilting the hips from side to side to help generate power. But this is actually a really inefficient way of riding and won't allow you to get as much benefit from the session. You sort of want to think of your legs as pistons whilst your bum stays seated, still in the saddle.
This is a session that you really want to be able to do it, on a terrain that's allowing you to ride at a low cadence. Obviously, if you're a downhill tailwind, it's hard to ride at 60 RPM, but still get the power out. So ideally, you want to kind of pick your moment to do this. So you're doing it into a headwind or uphill slightly, or indeed, this is kind of best to do on the turbo, but I'm not really a turbo man, so I prefer to go outside and muscle it out amongst all the fertilizer on the road and the mud and the potholes.
Right, well on that note, 5th rep coming up. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Big gear.
I have to say, this session didn't sound like much, but by the 5th and 6th rep, my legs were really starting to feel it. It's one of those sessions that creeps up on you big time. As we start to tire, we have to focus more on our form, making sure we don't sway from side to side, instead staying solid so that we generate all the power from our legs. That has a number of benefits, as Will explains.
Just think about that kind of back half of the race where no one's fresh anymore, everyone's getting tired, everyone's getting heavy legs, and we've been growing these pistons over the winter, so we're more than ready for that last push into transition.
That's actually a really important topic in triathlon, is that back end fatigue. It's not like we're doing one discipline and we sprint for the line. We're like, after the bike we've still got to run, so this almost is kind of training us for the run as well, and that strength. So
you have to remember that everyone's fresh in the first 20, 30, 40k of the bike. It's that back end where you really make the big dent on everyone else. It's amazing how quickly you can move through the field in an Ironman and a 70.3 if you're still fresh at the end. So it's really important to try and negative split, or at least even split the bike, so you're not getting off completely knackered.
Right, thanks very much, Will. That was a great session. I've got to say that really crept up on me towards the end.
No, mate, it's good to have you back out. It's definitely a session that gives you a lot of bang for your buck. It's worked for me in the past. Once you've been doing a bunch of these, you can really kind of feel the extra torque in the legs, which is fantastic for this time of year going into your race season.
Yeah, and the beauty is it took us relatively little time to do the whole session. It's great. Now, if you want to see more videos from GTN, just click on the globe and subscribe.
If you'd like to see a bike video, click down here.
And if you'd like to see how cadence on the bike can affect your run off the bike, we did an experiment at Team Bath. Now just click down here to see that.